Jim Hunt, last word.
What has changed you over the course of your life? What events have altered your path? Fam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. I want to share with you tonight one of those events that occurred in my life. And hopefully it'll inspire you to maybe overcome something. To not stop when you had an obstacle in your way and accomplish your goal. I got the idea to do the speech on a Saturday morning. I was watching TV with my kids. Inspiration can come from the TV, right? We watched a TV show. It was about a father who had died and a son who, the last words to his son were, "Rent Crocodile Dundee, it's a sure thing." Not the most heartwarming last words. And he had this dilemma that he had this voicemail. Should I listen to it? Should I listen to it? Well, the reason why I tell you this is because at the end of the show, my daughter asked me a question. So she's 12 years old. She asked me, "Dad, what were Papa's last words to you?" My dad. Kind of took me back for a second. Had to think about it. I had a choice. I could brush it off, just continue watching TV, and we'll get to that later, or do what I was taught, which is someone asks you an honest question, you give them an honest answer, and maybe put a little thought into it. Let me take you back there with me as I was telling the story to my kids. See, at the time, both my parents were sick. My mom and dad both had lung cancer at the same time, and my dad was terminal. It was the last days for him. Every day we would call home. And I had scheduled myself for a sales meeting in South Padre Island, Texas, on a Tuesday through Wednesday. We were going to go back to Minneapolis on a Thursday. So I had the whole week planned out. All the calls up to that point were good. Wednesday morning, time to call Mom and Dad. I call home. My mom answers, "Hi, Jim." "Hi, Mom. Can I talk to Dad?" "Oh, sure." Bart. Hands him the phone. She says, "It's Jim." And I say, "Hey, Dad." He's like, "Hi, Jimmer." I said, "You'll never guess where I am, Dad. I'm in South Padre Island." He's like, "Oh, Padre." "Dad? Dad? Dad? Did I just hear my dad die? Dad?" I just kept screaming into the phone, and a couple seconds later, Mom gets on the phone. It's like, "Jim, Dad fell asleep."
Oh, you stinker.
If he could have, he would have timed it. I don't think he had any control of it, but I'm pretty sure he would have. He was that kind of guy. Okay, so that was 9 in the morning, about 10 o'clock. My phone rings, and it's my sister Kate. Kate says, "Jim, you got a second?" I'm like, "Sure, what's going on?" "Dad has taken a turn, and you need to get home today." I had a problem. See, when I took that phone call, I literally was looking out a window at the Gulf of Mexico, and my mom and dad are in Minneapolis. How in the world am I going to get home? How in the world am I going to see my dad one more time? How in the world am I going to say goodbye? Face to face. I had a new mission. I had a mission in life. My mission that day was to get home. No matter what, I was going to move heaven and earth. If I had to quit my job that day, I would have done it. Luckily, I had a lot of people helping me, because most people knew what was going on. But the first step was to get to the airport. Everybody I knew at that time was in the meeting. I didn't have a car, and taxis aren't just flying around South Padre Island to take you to the airport. Get my bags together, get down to the registration. I'm on my way. I get down there, as luck would have it, there's another employee going to the airport at the same time. Okay, check that box. I'm on my way. Don't quit. I kept telling myself that day, don't quit. I get to the airport. I did something that I thought I'd never do. I only ever saw it in the movies. I literally walked in and bought a ticket at the counter. Had no idea if there was even a flight that day to where I needed to go. Don't quit. I got my ticket. It was going to take me, unfortunately, to Houston, so I kind of had to go from here to here to get up here. to Minnesota, and I was going to land about 7:30. I don't really remember a whole lot about the flight, to be honest with you. It was all kind of a blur. But I knew I had a mission. I wasn't going to quit. I was going to do everything I could to get home. The plane lands in Minnesota. The wheels touch down. Of course, I'm on my phone. First thing I do, I call home. No answer. That's really weird. I've called home 100,000 times. Someone's always home. Actually, I knew there were people there, but nobody answered. And as luck would have it, everybody's slow to get up, right? When you want everybody to rush off the plane, it's like you got everybody just taking their sweet time, talking to everybody. I'm like, come on. All right, next mission. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. I got to get off the airplane. I got to find my brother in the airport because he's waiting there to pick me up. Surely he'll know what's going on. So I finally get off the airplane. I do my best O.J. Simpson through the airport. And I find my brother. I didn't even say hello to him. I had literally ran past him and said, "Where's your car? Come on, we got to go." Because he wasn't sure what was going on either. So we get to his car. We tried to make a 30-minute trip in 15 minutes that night. And the whole time I'm on the phone, I'm calling home. Every single sibling, I have 5 brothers and sisters, everyone has a cell phone, no one's answering their phone. I just call and I call and I call and I call and I call. We're about 20 minutes away. 20 minutes into the trip, 5 minutes from home. My brother finally answers. He says, "Jim, I'm really sorry. But Dad died about the time that landed." I wasn't going to quit. I turned to my brother and said, "Well, you can slow down." We both kind of took a moment, pulled into my parents' driveway. Still had to finish the mission. Still had to get home. And I really didn't want to. I wanted to stay in the car. I didn't want my dad to die. I wanted to just do a reverse. I didn't want to do any of that. Put my hand on the door and I walked in, go up the stairs. Mom greets me. Okay, I got a nice mom hug. That was awesome. All the couches were laid out in my parents' living room. My dad was in the living room. All my relatives are in there. All I could see were red eyes and lots of whimpering. And I turned and I had my turn to say goodbye. I got to tell you, it was about, if you can imagine having like a whole month's worth of emotion that you stuff down, and then you literally let the cork off and let it go. Just let it go, like uncontrollably. I think I cried for about 3.5 minutes straight. And I told him goodbye. It was really hard. I gathered myself. I went into the kitchen. I came back out. No one was really saying anything. And whenever my mom wanted to get our attention, she'd say, "Kids?" And we all kind of turned and looked at her, and she had this little white bag. And she said, "Okay, come here." She handed out a little white box to all 5 of us kids. She said, "Here, I want you to open these together. They're from your father." We all opened them, and inside was a little silver medallion with a shamrock on it. He had taken a trip earlier in the year to Ireland, and he bought those for us and told my mom to give them to us when he passed. And it dawned on me as I was telling this story to my kids that, sometimes you're so focused on one goal, you get a different result. You get a surprise that you didn't expect. And that's really the value of perseverance that my parents instilled in us. And to wrap up my talk tonight, I want to share with you the last part of a poem that was real important to my dad. It was entitled "Don't Quit." Success is failure turned inside out. The silver tint in the clouds of doubt. It might be near when it seems afar. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worst that you must not quit. And Toastmasters.